And we really wanted to make something that would stand the test of time and that we could look back on when we're sitting there in our 70s, 80s, and like, we really made the music we wanted to make. That became the starting point for Allt.
Welcome to the Spencer Whiteout podcast. Rated R.
You have some criminal charges with you, bro. Guess like we're avoiding the sharks. Call it leather fetish.
No, it's great, Turbo Neck guy.
I'll give you a kiss. You give me your number.
That checked out a ton, dude. Tell me you felt.
We're Americans. We're the ones that are descendants from the 1776 musket-bearing motherfuckers.
Welcome to the Spencer Whiteout podcast, where we collect experiences as badges, memories as treasures, and stories as wealth. Today, I interview Olle of the Swedish metalcore band Allt. We talk all about their formation, live shows, working with Buster Odeholm, and the process of creating their epic new album, From the New World. Let's dive in. So stoked to chat with Olle from Allt today. How you doing, man?
Yeah, all good. How about yourself?
Good, dude. I gotta say, you guys are blowing up, and when I told my friends that I was interviewing you guys, they collectively lost their minds, and they all helped me gather some really good questions and topics that we're gonna go over today. But first, I gotta give them a shout out. Luke Fine, Jackson Bates, Sean Bremner, Ryan Stark, and Zach Carrion. You guys are legit, and you're gonna enjoy this episode. So I want to talk to you about the band formation, how you guys met in high school, and kind of how that came together.
Yeah. As you said, we met in high school, went to school choir together, started playing music in the hallways, doing acoustic covers of Parkway Drive, just having fun with it. Then years pass, people go off in their own directions, studies, college, whatever. And then one day, Robin and Victor and Sam, they had been like keeping it up in various local bands. And one day I got a message just asking if I take part in their new project again. And of course, I said yes. I was on the verge of, selling my guitar and all that shit. Just playing computers. But when they just invited me to join their project that they were going to do, I was so stoked. So went and got a new guitar, went to the rehearsal space. We wrote a song together, just hit it off. And yeah, that's it, I guess.
Magical, huh?
Yeah. It's funny how it can work out.
And how old are you guys now?
We're all between 27 and 29, so coming up on 30.
Nice. Same.
Settling
We're
into
from
life.
the same generation, dude.
Yeah.
So what were you guys' musical influences early on?
Parkway Drive, man, that was like, we grew up watching the Horizons documentary like it was church, We grew up on that shit. We just ate that up. I've always been a diehard Linkin Park fan. Linkin Park was my gateway into heavy music, or like into music at all, I would say. That's my roots when it comes to rock and alternative music. Victor and Robin, Avenged Sevenfold, big time, After the Burial. And then we all collectively found Periphery, Northlane, Vildhjärta, Humanity's Last Breath. From there, I think it was so many influences that kind of shaped what we wanted to do with the music.
Yeah, and you guys have a very cinematic sound, so I feel like all those influences make perfect sense,
Yeah, we love the cinematic stuff. We love the storytelling. We love to be clever about it, I guess. It's a fun game for us to build stories and then write lyrics to the stories and to the concepts and to the themes and really build a world.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a filmmaker, and I tend to get inspired by music to write movies. So I'm wondering if there's any movies that have inspired you guys to write music.
Yeah. All of Nolan's works, of course. It's kind of a meme at this point that every time Christopher Nolan drops a new movie, we have to write music. Of course, Denis Villeneuve as well, just coming up big time with the Blade Runner, Arrival, Dune, of course. Dune is such a massive inspiration for us.
Yeah, both those guys are unstoppable right now.
Yeah, and of course we love the A24 stuff as well. I think it's just beautifully done.
And if you could replace one movie soundtrack with your music, which would it be?
Oh, fuck. Ooh. That's a really good question. It would have to be something pumpy, something that really gets the blood going. I think it would be awesome to see something like Dread with just to some of our tracks. I love that movie, the new one. Yeah, maybe Dread.
Yep.
Not sure, would have to think about it. Arrival too, but I mean, I don't know how that would work really with the aliens.
Right on, dude. Those are good answers. All right, so talk to me about Karmanline, the previous band, and obviously you guys had to change the name and rebrand a bit because I even had a hard time pronouncing that.
Yeah,
and
why do you figure?
that band name. So talk about that and kind of like just releasing music with no real plan and kind of trial and error a little bit there.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was really about trial and error and getting to know each other again and getting to know each other musically as well, because Karmanline was the first time we as a band in the configuration we are now, except Adam, of course, our drummer, who joined up later. That was the first time we really made music together. That was not covers or anything. So it was really interesting, and it was a really inspiring time because we had no idea about anything, no industry things, no nothings. We just listened to the music, we hung out, we wrote music, wrote riffs. We just wanted to make cool songs and didn't really think more than that about it. We just wanted to write together, and we really enjoyed writing together and just hanging out, and we just kept on like that. And it was a really long process as well with Karmanline, like unnecessarily long process. We wrote and we wrote and we rewrote and we retracked and we like quad tracked all the vocals and all the guitars, even though it was not needed. And we spent like, I don't know, it must have been a year or something in the studio with the first EP, just trying to get all the tracks to feel right and not knowing what was going on and just trying things out. And it was a really fun process, but it became apparent quite quickly that we really needed to have more of a plan in writing and releasing music and the whole vision of it. Karmanline was just writing. We did a music video and then we released it, and then that was it. So around the time when we started writing new music as Karmanline initially, already then we wanted to reinvent ourselves a little bit with the sound and the production as well, of course. So that's when we brought on Buster and our other producer, James Carey. And we really wanted to make something that would stand the test of time and that we could look back on when we're sitting there in our 70s, 80s and like, yeah, we did the thing and we poured our hearts into it and we really made the music we wanted to make. That became the starting point for Allt. And as soon as that shift came, that was the time we started talking to our manager as well, John, who I'm now working for. That was just a big shift for us. And it really put things into perspective, like, well, we pour all of this time and effort and all this money into this project. Where is it gonna lead? And I think we were just really fortunate to have such a great team from the start, and being picked up by the YouTuber Joao Medeiros really early. He pushed our music and then it kind of just kicked off. And all of a sudden it was out of our hands, out of our control. It was out there, you know. And that's when we realized like, okay, maybe we do something with this. Maybe we actually think about playing live too. And now here we are a couple of years later.
There's a few more fun and cool key parts to the story that I wanted to highlight. So you got to tell people what Buster said after he mixed the Dark Waters EP.
Oh, yeah, it's actually kind of hilarious that after mixing Dark Waters, he had to go back and actually remix Velda. And that was just mind-blowing to me to hear that. So yeah,
because he discovered some new mix secrets when he did Dark Waters, and he's like, "Dang it! Now I gotta do my whole album all over again because yours sounds better than mine."
He always compliments us with the guitars as well. Almost all Allt guitars are tracked by Victor, the other guitarist, and he just has such a great like finger tone, great picking technique, and extremely talented guitarist. So I think it was the guitar DIs as well. We put insane amounts of effort into just getting it right at the source.
So what's the secret to the kick-ass guitar tone?
I mean, thin picks, as thin strings as you can manage with, long scale length, and just pick hard. That's it. The rest we leave to Buster.
There you go.
Yeah.
And have you guys been working with him for every release?
We have been, yeah. For every Alt release, Buster has been involved. It's been a really good collaboration. It's been tough at times, just because, like, he's very upfront about things. So if there's a part he doesn't like, he will flat out say that it sucks. And that's not always what you want to hear as a writer, but it does make for great music when we really scale back, like remove the ego and then just cut the fat off. Boil down the soup, reduce it into this powerful concoction.
Like the cooking analogies. Let's go.
Yeah. When you reduce it and all of a sudden you got a great sauce or stew or whatever it is.
All of a sudden you get Alt. And so tell us how you guys chose that name.
We wanted to change from Karmanline, and all of the other names that we wanted were taken. And Allt is the Swedish word for everything, as many of you may know by now. So as everything was taken, we kind of made it a meme to, we should just name our band Allt. All the cool names are taken, so we take everything.
And you guys get to be at the top of the iTunes library with
that too, of course.
Who designed the ultra clean logo? I love that, by the way.
Oh, it was Robin, our vocalist, that made the sketch, and then we sent it off to a guy called Dixon Jong, or Intuitive Designs. Great designer. It was Robin's sketch with his final design.
Brad, now we're talking about your guys' first EP and stuff. This time you guys did it right. You guys wanted to do a plan and create all the assets and like actually schedule things out and everything. So tell me about that shift in thinking, and how were you guys able to do something professional and valuable?
Yeah, I have to give it up to our manager, John, who just came on board and whipped us all into shape.
Yeah, there you go.
That does it. Like, we used to be quite a chaotic, disorganized bunch. And in some aspects we still are, but having a manager when you're just a bunch of creative people wanting to make music, and then having a manager come on and tell you, like, we need to do this, have you thought about this, can we spin this in some angle, how about we tackle it in this way, have you thought about doing X, Y, Z? And that was the big shift for us, because before then we were just a bunch of creatives guessing our way forward. And then John came on board and taught us about smart links, about YouTube ads, about stuff like that. There's a whole world of marketing out there, and he opened the door to it. So we're ever grateful for just having our paths crossed with him.
And so how was Dark Waters received? Because it seems like it did really well for you guys being kind of a no-name band.
Yeah, I remember seeing reactions for it. I remember seeing guitar covers for it. And that at the time made me so happy. As you said, being just a baby band and then having people play your stuff on guitar or reacting to it or reviewing it even, it's a good feeling,
And then talk about Rupture. This single, you brought in more electronics.
Yeah.
And I like what you said too in another interview where you were saying you got to experiment early on so that the fans will be open to the changes as you progress as a band. I thought that was good.
Yeah, that's what we did with Rupture. We wanted to try blast beats, of course. Like you said, we wanted to incorporate the electronics. It was inspired by an event that many of the people in the band took part of. It's about someone who suffered a pretty bad psychosis. And that was kind of a jumping off point for that track. It was something that shook us all really bad. We wanted to channel that through that song, basically. We wanted to write about it to just catharsis.
Yeah, totally. And so talk to me about your writing process and also getting into the 2022 EP, The Seed of Self-Destruction.
Long and drawn out. Yeah, The Seed of Self-Destruction started with writing many of the lyrics, if I remember correctly. We started working on some vocal techniques there as well. Like, our vocalist Robin had recently just started a massive evolution in his vocal, and the Seed of Self-Destruction became kind of the the proving grounds where he could show his new range, show his new vocals, his new techniques. And with this new range, this new pitch scream technique he had, his new lows, it was just about the vocals.
I loved it, dude. I think it was a really big step up.
Yeah, it was.
And I also want to hear about kind of the aesthetics, and I like that you guys have really stuck to a lot of black and white visuals.
Yeah, it's just so easy to keep clean, and it's timeless.
And then talk to me about some of your music videos and also working with Ravada visuals.
Love working with those dudes. It's just always such an easy process. We can just brainstorm together. We can brainstorm concepts, and I mean, we started working with them from the Rupture video, and since we never looked back. And they are their own biggest critics as well, so you know they're as keen about the quality of the videos as we are. So you always feel as though it is in safe hands. And it proves the point how important it is to have a good team surrounding you and people you can trust with your ideas.
Yeah, for sure. And I interviewed Grayscale Season and Silverlake Murder. They both had great things to say about you guys. So I just was curious if you know those bands or if you've been brushing shoulders with them.
Oh, yeah. The Silverlake guys, I've had an eye on them for a couple of years now, actually. I really think they are the guys who in a couple of years will just bring it in the Swedish scene, I would say. They're just young guys, hungry guys, and super talented. They can produce, and they're good instrumentalists, and just hungry. So I really like the Silverlake Murder project, and I like the people behind it too. Genuinely great people. And Grayscale Season as well. Like, I only met them briefly, no bad things to say about them, and I think their music is super unique as well. I really think they're bringing something fresh to the game.
Yeah. Talk to me about signing with Century Media Records. How did that process go, and how have they helped you so far?
We had a show. It was our 6th or 7th show in Stockholm. It was a Swedish festival called High Five Summerfest, and someone had invited the Century Media people there. We did the show. It was great. It was one of our best shows that we'd done to date, and as I said, it was our 6th or 7th show. And then we just had a long talk and hit it off really well with him after the show. And that's kind of where it started. It was clear from the beginning that this is the right label for us. We are in the right place because we have been on the same page with everything since day one. And they have complete trust in us with our creative vision, with our socials, with whatever we want to do. They have great trust in us, and they're always supporting us. We trust them 100%. And that's how a good partnership is supposed to be.
That's super valuable. It's also really hard to find these days.
It is. We are very fortunate to work with great people, with talented people, and with people who want the same as us. That makes all the difference.
Yeah, totally. So let's talk about live shows, and how does the music translate live so far?
It translates good. We love playing live. It's when you start playing live that you know what feels good and what works for the crowd and what works for you, because it has to click. So playing live was a challenge for us at first, just because we wanted to get everything to sound as close as we possibly could to the record. And there are some tricky parts to play and some tricky production things that we had to nail down. I really think we're getting there. And it's just a blast. I mean, touring is great. We toured with Bleed From Within, an amazing tour. Learned so many things from them. Just a great bunch. Textbook example, how to keep it pro. And they were just really understanding about us having played under 10 shows, and they just brought us on there. That tour was amazing for us.
Do you guys have any worse shows that just went terribly wrong?
Oof, yeah. Radar Festival last year. I don't know how much it came through to crowd, but our MIDI switches failed. And we do a lot of automation, MIDI automation in our set, especially for pitch. And when your MIDI automation fails and you have a pitch shifter connected to that, you run into issues. So the bass was in one tuning. One of the MIDI switches still worked, so the guitar was in the correct tuning. And then my guitar was in another tuning from the bass. So we played 3 tunings simultaneously during 2 songs. And I mean, the dissonance must have been pretty,
horrendous.
Yeah. It was 2 songs, luckily, but that was like, oof. And at that point, that was the biggest show we had ever played to. So, of course, that happens.
Hey, on to bigger and better things, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the new album, From the New World. It comes out October 4th. Super excited for this. This debut has been a long time in the making. Let's talk about the singles so far. The first one, Emanate. What do you have to say about this one?
Oh, Emanate, that was the first single we released with Century Media Records. It was a song that came together really spontaneously and quickly, and massive grinding chuggy sound, kind of simplistic for being us. And it was also our first departure from the harsh vocals. It was the first clean alt chorus, so that was a big experiment, of course.
Yeah, dude. And then let's talk about The Orphan Breed. I love this song. This was the one that really made me just become a huge fan. I mean, I love how fast and relentless this track is, and then the glitchy, like, kind of electronic sound that's going throughout the track really keeps the momentum up, and it keeps the tension at an unbelievable pace. So talk about this track.
Yeah, Orphan Breed was another experiment of ours that was like deep into making the album, and that song came together in less than a month, and we didn't second guess anything. We just went balls to the wall, pissed off. And it really worked out well as a palate cleanser, and also releasing it before the tour we were going on at that point. It wasn't supposed to be on the album, but it was just too perfect not to have on there, so that's that one.
Yeah, and then Remnant, this one's very melodic. I love the "We Are But Ghosts," and then those lyrics, and then the kind of crazy screeching guitars breakdown. This is a super sick track.
Yeah, Remnant is it sets the whole thing up. It really does paint the picture, and especially with the previous track, A Flash of Light, as well. That's the album intro into Remnant. That really sets the tone for the album, and it sets the theme, and it just drops you straight into the world that we are building. I really love that we managed to get that sound off the guitar, like the screechy sound, the reversed bends. Like No Oath is really famous for doing that. You have him in the intro, so.
Yeah, that's right. You know that. And then let's talk about Aquila. This song, super sick, haunting lead guitars. I love the just huge chorus of this song, and you've got really climactic cinematic soundscapes. And then there's also some cool, VR stuff going on in the music video. So let's talk about this song and kind of what's it about as well.
Yeah, Aquila was, I think it was the first song we started writing for From the New World. And it has had so many shapes. We've rewritten this song so many times. I mean, there are like 4 or 5 vocal arrangements for this one that we just completely scrapped, and then we found the one right now. The lyrics have been kind of the same from the inception. It's about fanaticism, it's about blind obedience, it's about just a scenario where there is some sort of simulation gone wrong, or Terminator 2 type scenario, basically.
I love that.
I mean, when we finally found the chorus, it just made me so happy. Also that Robin actually managed to develop his vocal far enough that he could actually nail that and actually sing that. That's when we know we had the track. Because we've struggled so much with this track. It's the hardest song we've ever written. Hands down. No comparison. Like, it's not even close. But I'm really happy we stuck with it.
Yeah. I'm glad you stuck with it. This really is an excellent track. And
I love it.
It's so funny. Like, I totally know the feeling too as a filmmaker. It's like when you're just re-editing a scene over and over again, and you're just like getting completely lost because you're like, I don't even know what's good anymore. Like, which version do I use?
Right.
And then sometimes you'll find one, and then you'll just be like, oh, this feels right. It's about that inward feeling.
Exactly.
When you watch it, when you listen to it back, and you're like, okay, this feels right. And then it's amazing.
Yeah, at some point, it's not about better or worse. It's just about different, right? When we hit that chorus, that's when we know we had the track. And then everything just snapped into place, basically. It was the first song we started working on for the new album, and it was the last one we finished.
Epic.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the latest single, Echoes.
Yeah. This is the biggest departure this is the most out there song we've ever done. It has cleans running, I mean, almost all the way through the songs, and it's just this scaled back, very vulnerable track about loss and grief, and about realizing that some things are just permanently lost and gone. I've been looking forward to release this one for such a long time, because it is one that I'm really proud we managed to nail this and to do this, and to get Robin to the point where he can perform this song and just sing it in this way. That made me extremely happy as a writer, because I've been pushing for it since day one to have cleans in our music, because I love clean singing. But we haven't been ready until now. And with this song, we really want to highlight that again. We're never afraid of branching out. We're never afraid of trying things. We just want to make the music that we enjoy making. And I think this track is a testament to that.
Right on, dude. And so I got to ask, is there any Easter eggs on this debut album? You know, maybe something a super fan would catch, but a casual fan might not.
There are a bunch.
Can you give away any?
I would say, like, for the sake of just being spicy about it, I would really like for people to discover that for themselves. But there are Easter eggs, both lyrically and in the music as well. Yeah, that would be interesting to see if people catch.
All right. And then do you have any favorite lyrics?
Ooh, from the new album?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. I have a bunch, actually. If I were to pick a favorite lyric, there is one from Cycles. From the cradle of the earth we rose to burn, reignite the heavens again in reverence. I love that lyric.
Right on, dude. And then how about what's next? Let's talk about the Black Tour and anything else you guys have planned coming up.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be awesome, like Swedish takeover. We're just going to go full Swede on Europe with Imminence and Aviana. We're good friends with the guys in Aviana too. Lovely guys, lovely people. It's an awesome package, and we're really fortunate to Imminence for bringing us on this tour. Building off that, we have a bunch of plans. I mean, obviously the album releases one day before the tour starts, and then we're just going on this belter of a tour. Going back, writing more music, of course, always writing. We have some plans for next year. We're gonna play more shows, and we're gonna tour more.
You guys got to get over to the US, dude.
We're just waiting for that one opportunity, and then we're going. So we're fishing right now, let me tell you that. And we aim to come to the States next year.
That's going to be so exciting, man. I'll be first in line. I can't wait to be there.
That's going to be great.
Yeah, exactly. Well, dude, right on. That was such a good conversation. That is all the questions I had for you. I really appreciate you taking the time, Olle. It was super good, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to welcome any new listeners to the podcast and let you know that there's lots more metalcore band interviews coming soon. So follow the show and keep up with me on social medias at Spencer Whiteout to stay up to date. Be sure to leave a rating/review. 5 stars is a power play. And as always, stay tuned, stay hyped. That's a wrap.
And that's it.